Hello everybody, this is Pat Walker, Mission Winners, going through the ETFs, the ETF list for everybody. Why do we do this? It's not because we like to look at a bunch of charts. It's because we know this. This is a fact. Leading groups produce leading stocks produce leading groups. So we look at the ETFs, the industry groups, and it can guide us for areas to maybe look into deeper for making money and also areas to avoid. Weekly on the left, daily on the right. We like to see, you look at the daily chart and say, oh, that looks okay. But then you look at the weekly and you say, oh, I see something much better here. That's why we do this. You can say, well, what's this? Well, this is grinding up, but here's the weekly chart, okay? And I'm gonna share this with you. And it's nothing fancy, that's the best part. Simplicity is a good thing. There you go. You got a nice flat base here. Okay, notice it's starting to pick up on increasing volume. Something to take into consideration. Now, it's way down here off the highs, right? Tons of overhead supply all through here, folks. You see this, that it's got to fight through. But it is forming a base here, and perhaps it will lift off. There we go. There's number one. We're going to go through all of them. Here we go. This is electric vehicles. What's a big chunk of this? Yeah, a little company called Tesla. How about that? Lifted through this base right here. It's a nice base. And guess what? That's pushing through right in this level here. There was a spot here. And it lifted off, or here, and it's lifting off. I'm not saying buy it, please, but this will help you frame up the weekly and combine it with daily action. Let's continue onwards. So here's FDN, okay, Dow Jones Internet. You can see this longer base here on the weekly, and it's pushed through. And a little wiggy here, though. You can see it goes up, and then it fell. A little loose here, okay, but you can see on the longer base on the weekly, but again, a little loose on the daily. Be aware of that and be careful with that. Continue onwards. And what do we have here? This is the IBD 50. Here's the weekly, daily. What do you notice about it? This is the index of the IBD 50 stocks. These are good stocks. They're anointed. IBD's picked them. But it also tells us how weak the market has been in the growth sector area. I mean, look at this. That's pretty dang rough here, isn't it, folks? And here's the daily chart. What's the one plus? It is starting to pick up a little bit, okay? And there's a little bit of volume accumulation coming into it. That is a plus. Continue onwards. Gold miners. See that clean and simple base right there? Okay, that corresponds with this. And it's working. We're in it. There you go. It's nothing fancy. Look at the base. It's kind of a company handle. Look at the volume pickup. We also own it down here too. There you go. It's nothing fancy. That's the key. You can say, did you own it down here? Yeah, we did. There it is. There it is right there, folks. This is this. And it lifted off on volume. Nothing fancy. Clean and simple. If you, I'm going to commit heresy, but I'm going to say it. If you wait for the cup and a handle pattern, you're going to starve to death. Okay? It is a great pattern, but we have to have a couple other patterns in our toolbox to make money. Okay? And what do I love? I love the cup and handle. I love clean and simple flat bases that everybody can see. Why? If everybody sees it, it increases the potential that A, they see it, and B, they will buy with us. And then there's another important point. Why do I like clean and simple bases? Price is good above the line and bad below. Helps us keep losses much smaller. And another point I want to share with all of you. Please try to stay away from I haven't looked at a 5-minute chart this year. Okay, I haven't looked at a 5-minute chart last year. I don't look at them. Okay, there's too much emotion in them. Look at the weekly, the daily, maybe take it down to hourly or 30-minute, periodically 10-minute. That's all you need, and you'll do better. Let's continue onwards. And we have right here gold. Gold's lifted off through here, and you see it steadily grinding up there. I'm not saying buy it now, but you can see the pattern, and you can see it kind of grinding up. Next one right here, and this is why we do this. What is this? This is biotechnology. You can see this base right here, folks. There was a base here, it didn't do too much, okay? That's part of the factor of the market. And here's another base, which corresponds with, I'll draw it for you. And again, it's not rocket science. Right there. There's a little lower line right there. Maybe it'll take that out. What's it need to do? Take it out with volume. There's IBB, biotechnology. Continue onwards. What do we have here? And again, weekly on the left, daily on the right. Online retail starting to pick up. What's part of online retail? Oh, there's that company that's got a river related to a river. Is that called Nile.com? No, Amazon.com. There you go. You can see it in the base here, and you can see it here. You saw this thing picking up. You can say, I guess I should look at some online retail stocks. Yeah, Amazon. And Amazon's been working. Yeah, and we own it. There you go. Connecting the dots. I'm not saying buy it now, but just taking a look at the charts. I'll go a little faster here so that we don't talk too much. Oil and gas, big base right here, okay? Big base. Lower level base down here, but it's choppy. Not a lot of leadership. Be careful with that, okay? There you go. That's knowledge, that's power. Software technology, base right here, and it's starting to pick up. A little choppy in here, as you can see, but it is starting to pick up a bit. Needs to push through that line. Volume pickup here. Software related. Okay, technology. What do we have here? U.S. medicine. You can see that downward sloping line there, and it started to push up and it backed off, and you can see it here. And this is a valuable lesson. There was good volume on this bar here, folks, right? But it hadn't broken out yet. The next bar, it breaks out, but the volume was just okay. Not a lot of power there. Remember this. People talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. They didn't really do a lot of voting on that bar, and it gives it right back. There you go. The next one, what is this? And you can always look here. See that? iShares, S&P mid-cap. What do we have here? Going sideways across these tops, lifted up on a slight pickup in volume on the weekly, and not a lot of real volume power on the daily. It's like, oh, it broke out, but there was no push. Volume tells us other people see what we see, and they are acting on it. And that's what we want. That's true on breakouts, on indexes, ETFs, stocks. It works. So not a lot of power so far. Continue onwards. Biotechnology, U.S. home construction, my mistake. Going sideways, started to lift off across here, and it's kind of working up here a bit. A little loose, but you can see it's marching on up. It's marching up. It's walking up the 21-day. I'm not saying buy it now, but you can see the pattern. Nothing fancy. It works. What do we have here? S&P growth. What do you see on this one? A lot of overhead supply. It's going to need some more work to get up to this line. By the way, that's an ugly bar. When you see something like this, that gaps up, runs up, and reverses down on a pickup in volume, that's high investor emotions. Be careful with that. Continue on. Here we go. This is why we do this. What do you see here? IWM, small caps. I don't know about you, but I see a pretty clean and simple flat base on the weekly. I see the same thing on the daily. What's it need to do? Push through that line, which is this line basically. Push through that on volume. There we go. That's what it needs. So far, not a lot of volume. We need some power there. Airlines. Look at the base. Simple base right there on the weekly. And it lifted off, and it did the same thing on the daily. I'm not saying buy it here, but connect the dots. You see this base right here? Watch this. By Jove, there it is. And again, it's nothing, and we'll get close to it here. See that right there? We'll go there, and that's close enough. And know this also, folks, when you're drawing your lines, you don't have to get it to the penny, okay? Just connect the dots, the tops, that's all. And it's push through. The high on this bar is the high on that bar. There you go, done. So not saying buy it, but you can see the pattern and the relevance of it. Let's continue onward. I'll do that. Regional banking, there's nothing here really. I mean, it's lifting up a bit. There's nothing here. Move on. I mean, don't overthink it. Mid-cap, just like IWM, mid-cap. The mid-caps are starting to pick up a little bit. The weekly, here's the daily. What's it need to do? Push up here on a pickup in volume. There you go, mid-cap. Continue onward. Oil services, it's a little bit loose here on the daily. Ran up, OIH runs up and gives it right back. There's the weekly chart. Look at the daily chart. Gaps up and reverses down. Isn't that interesting? You got to be careful with that. Little loose, be careful. Online retail, what's it doing? Well, you can see it's picking up a little bit. It's picking up here on the weekly, and it's picking up a bit on the daily. Gosh, online retail. What's an online retail stock? What company's a big online? Oh yeah, there's that little company, Amazon. There you go. Connect the dots. Move on. By the way, you can see this, and you could have also looked at Amazon, which we will do an ETF. We'll do a MAXLIST video on that, and you'll see Amazon, and you'll see where we own it and why it was on the key list. There we go. By the way, when I say we, I'm speaking to the VIPs, our members, okay? Just let you know. Pharmaceuticals, long base right here, folks. Needs to take out those tops. This is the weekly. What do you notice on the weekly? There's pretty heavy selling volume there. And look at the daily. There it is. Needs to take out these tops on volume. Right now, heavy selling, be careful with it. Move on. There's better places to put your money. Here we go. QLD's picking up a little bit right here. As you can see, had a higher low setup, lifting off. Okay, there was some shelf right in here. It's just kind of grinding on up there. That's decent. You can see these tops across here, right in here. I'll draw it for you. Here we go. There it is. That corresponds basically with this right here. Okay? This high here, you know, right in here. You can see it. And the best thing it could do is this. Form a handle here and then lift off. There you go. QLD, NASDAQ 100, QQQ, same situation as QLD. Good. Move on here. Retailing, picking up a little bit here, okay? Just a little bit, but overall, it's just so-so. There's not a lot of power there, okay? Good weekly here, but notice this. It lifted up here, and volume's dropping off. When it starts to break across tops, you'd like to see a volume pickup. Lack of volume means lack of conviction. Continue onward. Cloud computing. I think that's a great ticker symbol for cloud computing. SKY. Isn't that great? Here we go. You can see these bases here. I'll get rid of this line for you. And again, this is what we show at Mission Winners every day. Go through these things. Flat line. Nothing fancy. Price is good above the line and bad below. Corresponds with right in here. Okay. And I'll draw it for you. Basically the same line. There you go. See these high bars right here? That's these high bars on the weekly. And this is the daily. This bar right here is this bar right here. And so it's just going sideways. So now what's it need to do? Pick up. The best thing it could do is form a handle and then push through these tops. Why is the handle so important? And again, I was an IBD meetup co-leader for years and used to teach this. The handle is the area where the people that bought it down lower and see it rally up near the old highs, and the people that bought it at old highs and didn't sell it and see it come back to their old price, they say, yeah, you know what? That's where I was in it, and I'm back near my price. I'm going to sell. That is the psychological background of why a handle forms in the charts. Most people don't know that, and now you do. And you can use it to make better investing decisions. So it's going sideways. I'll move on here. Silver, just kind of going sideways right here on the weekly, going sideways on the daily, but you can see, oh, it goes up and it gaps down, goes up and reverses down, and then it gaps down, goes up and then it gaps down, goes up and reverses down. There's a seller up there, folks. Need dissociation power, nothing really there. Steel's picking up a little bit. You can see there was a low level, and this is a good lesson for you. I'm doing this real time, by the way. I haven't rehearsed this, okay? Just a low level cup with a handle. This is a great lesson for everybody. Please don't think that a cup and handle has to have a perfectly flat line like this. It doesn't. It's fine if it does, but it can have a line like this, a gradually sloping line. You don't want too steep of a line. That makes it tougher. But there you go. And they bought it. How do I know? It lifted up in price with a pickup in volume. There you go. Nothing really to do with it right now. Just, you know, maybe it'll base here and form another handle. We'll see. SMH, semiconductors. Look at the base on semiconductors starting to pick up on a pickup in volume. That's good to see. What does that tell us? Big technology area also tell us, hey, maybe the rally's spreading out. There we go. Spiders, S&P 500 across these tops right here, and I'll draw it for you. Nothing too fancy. Aren't you glad I'm not using a crayon on my computer screens? Oh, that'd be awful. Going sideways right here. What's it need to do? Push across these tops. These high bars here are these high bars. Just take out these tops. Maybe form a handle on the daily, and that would be useful. Let's wrap this up. SSO, similar situation, going across these tops here. Okay, that would be nice. Also, what does that show us? Let's take this a step further. It's starting to pick up. And you know this. The rally's starting to improve. Okay? By the way, please don't think, oh, Pat's the Super Bull or Pat's the Super Bear. Let's go, let's go. No, Let price and volume action guide your actions. That keeps you in line with the markets. You don't forecast, you get in line with what's happening. All right? Great quote from David Landry. I had this quote taped to my monitor for, 15 years. I'll believe in what I see and not in what I believe. Let the chart, backed by volume, tell you what to do. Solar, oh, look at that. I had the line already on the daily, but here it is on the weekly. Solar. There you go. Maybe it's going to take out those tops. Wouldn't that be good? If it does, what does it need? It needs a really good volume. But that doesn't look too bad. Maybe look at some solar stocks. Small cap, just like IWM. Look at TNA, the leveraged one. Got a base right here. Here you go. That corresponds right in here. Maybe it's going to lift across these tops. This is be up a little bit higher, okay? This is an old line. Up in here, take this out. What's it need to do? Push through that line on the weekly and or the daily and do it on volume. Uranium's picking up a little bit, as you can see. No real clean entry on it, okay? But it is picking up on steadily increasing volume. You can say, what can I do with that? Maybe look at a couple uranium stocks. Oil, look at oil. The market lifted last week and oil fell. Do you see that? Tells me to stay away from it. Done. And oil stocks. Here we go. Aerospace and defense picking up a little bit. You can see this top right here on a pickup in volume. I'll draw the line for you. There we go. Then it's picking up through these tops. Maybe it'll lift. I don't know. We'll see. Some volume pickup, but aerospace and defense. You could look at a couple of the leading stocks in that group. Biotechnology, another biotech ETF. Look at the long base. It needs to push through these tops on volume. And you can see there's good volume on the weekly there, okay? One thing I'll share with all of you, just be careful with biotechnology, especially individual biotechnology stocks. One bad news story can blow them up. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but just be aware of it. That's why the usefulness of the ETFs. Home builders kind of grinding on up, and you can see it. Here's the key point of this video, folks. You can see that the rally is spreading out into other areas. That's what we want to see. There's not a lone wolf industry out there. There are others that are doing it. Here we go. Materials. I don't know where you can see it on the daily. I already drew it. But here it is on the weekly. There's nothing fancy. There you go. And there's some accumulation in there. Take out these tops. Take out that line on volume. You could either buy some of the material stocks. You could click on XLB and find out their top 5 holdings. Or you could say, I could just buy the ETF taking out those tops. There you go. And remember, price is good above the line and bad below. Keep losses small if it doesn't work. Energy's working a little bit for you. There we go. Yeah, we've been involved with energy. Okay, there we go. Industrials just going sideways. You can see these long tops right here. Watch this. There you go. Close enough. Just going across those tops, which corresponds with these tops here. Okay, the high on this bar is the same as the high on this bar. Lift that up. What does that tell us? Oh, industrial strengthening a little bit too. Lift it up on a pickup in volume. Technology is picking up. Then leave it a little bit. And we're involved with technology. There we go. What does this tell us? We're not involved with consumer staples. Look at this. Oh, this here shows a little bit of power. This shows nothing. What does that tell you? There's power to say, I ain't messing with consumer staple stocks. Done. Utilities are lagging, nothing to do with it. Okay, healthcare, lagging. There's nothing really to do with it. Look at this. It's falling. Leave it alone. Consumer discretionary, picking up a little bit off the bottoms, okay? But it is picking up, and you can see it on the weekly and the daily. Punch up XLY and see what's in that group. Maybe there's something in there to look into. That's power for you. And you're not using a lot of time. Metals and mining picking up a little bit. That's good to see. Oil, it's kind of lagging. There's not a lot of power there. Another energy one. Retail's picking up a little bit, okay? Software picking up a little bit. See that line right there? I'll draw it for you. The MAXLIST stocks on down the line. Big name stocks, big money can glide into them, big money can glide out of them. And our job at Mission Winners, we try to find those sweet spots just before money's going to glide into them. So let's take it from the top here. Here's Apple. Had a small shelf here. It's still below the 200 day, the falling 200 day, but it's starting to turn a corner. I'm not saying buy it, okay? But I will share this with you. You see this little shelf where it lifted off here? There was a potential spot there. It's moving up a little bit, okay? Amazon. entries here, then it meandered, and people bought it up here. We talked about this with Mission Winners, and some VIPs own this, and it's working. It's working. We'll see where it goes. It's a start. It's a start. Now, this is not a high level base, okay? This is a shorter base, but you can still see this clean and simple flat base. Clean and simple flat base, nothing fancy. Continue onwards. It just shows the rally spreading. Here's Alibaba. Look at this. This was on the key list way back here. This is why at Mission Winners, we don't all get negative and say, oh, there's nothing going on. I'm not going to look at charts. We are always, it's a business. We run it like one. Right here, push us above these tops. We picked Alibaba up. Look at the volume on this bar. We were buying Alibaba right near the close there, or right near the open. This was on the key list. And it's moving nicely to the tune of about 20 points. There you go. Isn't that great? We've sold some into strength for profits. No matter what happens, we're going to make good money. That's it. Continue onwards. BIDU, kind of related to Alibaba. It's picking up a little bit. You can see these tops here, and I'll draw this for you. Right there. And it's nothing fancy. There it is. Clean and simple tops. Notice this. See how the volume's steadily picking up the last couple of days? What does it need to do? Push through that top with really good volume. There we go. And we'll be ready. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Let's continue onward. Google. Google's got, there was a channel right here that it pushed through. Now it's run up to old tops. What could we see? And I'll make this a little bigger for you. There you go. That'll help. You can see these tops right here. See the slight volume pickup on Friday? Maybe it'll follow through. Clean and simple, nothing fancy. By the way, please note this. I don't forecast. I let price and volume tell me what to do. But I've seen these patterns before, and we look for patterns that are fairly reliable for making money. There we go. Goldman Sachs. This is just kind of sloppy. And there's something that should really catch your eye. That thing fell on heavy volume here. Then it kind of went sideways, and then it fell on heavy volume. There's sellers in there. What does that say to us? Leave it alone. Don't overthink it. It's falling on heavy volume. Go to the next one. We have a limited amount of money and a limited amount of time. Focus on the best of the best. Continue onwards. MasterCard. That was one wild bar there. There were several listed stocks that did this. It's kind of loose right now. I'd be careful with that. Let it settle down. Meta. You see this nice base here? You see the cup and a handle? Here's the big cup. Here's the handle. Pushes through right here. Volume's about average, but it was clean and simple. And you know what? It led the advance. Bought it right in here, and it's moving up. And it's a good start. Now, here's an important point. What did it run up to? The 200-day, the following 200-day. We'll have to watch and see if it pushes through there. If it does, maybe we'll buy more. If it stalls, maybe we'll lock some profits in. No day trading, no fancy tactics. They're simple. They're simple. They're conceptually correct. And I like that. Microsoft pushed through on Thursday. This was not a bad bar. This is a very good lesson for all of you. See where it gapped down and it fell and it closed in the top third of its range on volume. Folks, that's not a sell bar. They bought it. They bought into it. It pushed above these tops right here. Volume was about average. It's hanging in there. Perhaps there's an entry in here. We'll have to watch and see. But it's a little bit extended from the safe entry there. So be careful with it. Look at Netflix. See that clean and simple base right there? There was the buy. There was a volume pickup right through here. Bouncing off the 50-day, bouncing off the 21-day, bouncing off the ADMA. All of them clustered right there. Buys right there. In a sloppy market, we'll call it 300 up to 360. That's 60 points, folks. In a crummy market, that's good money. There it is. Clean and simple base entry. And let us train our eyes on it, okay? Let's do that real quick. That's what I was looking at. That's it. That's why I was on the key list. It takes out those tops on volume. That'd be pretty good. And it did on a volume pickup. There it is. We didn't buy it up there. Bought it right in here. There we go. And it works. And again, that's where it's at now. Continue onward. NVIDIA. There was a low-level base here, just like I showed you on Netflix. Look at this. It's going sideways here. There's a little shelf right here. Maybe if it takes out that shelf, that could be a spot to buy some. Oh, gee whiz. Look, it did it on a pickup in volume. People saw what we saw, and you know what they did? They acted on it. And there it goes. People talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. They voted. Entry goes up, basis, pulls back a little bit. Oh, pushes up. Look at that, right to that line on a pickup and vol. Maybe if it takes out that line, that'd be a spot to buy more. Oh, gee whiz. They did it. And look at the volume. See that? There's kind of a cup with a handle right here. I drew it. And again, this was on the key list. We talked about this with videos, saying maybe if it takes out this line here, that'd be a spot to buy more or maybe a new buy. Oh, gee, look, like I said, they voted. There we are. And there it goes. Simple, simple. Everybody can see it. That's what we like. Continue onward. Tesla. Okay, dad humor. This is an electrifying move. Okay, don't gang up on me because we'll get you for assault and battery. Okay, sorry about that. Don't hang up on me. If my kids were here, they'd just laugh. Go, golly, Dad. Okay, you've got these tops right here. It lifted across there, and then it ran up, pulled back on decreasing volume, starts to pick up, and watch this. This is so fun. Charts are a reflection of human emotions. Fear, greed, panic, complacency. You can see this base right here. You can say, I guess if it takes out that line, that'd be a spot to maybe buy more or buy it. You know, it's simple, right? There's nothing fancy there. But what would it need? It would need volume to do that. Oh, gee, look at that. It lifts up, it pushes through the line on a pickup in volume. That's it. This is what we teach all the time. This is what we do. And manage, and it works. And it's working. Lifting off. Entry, in good shape. There we go. Have locked some profits in. We'll see what it does. And then finally, we round it out with Visa. And I think that might be a bad data bar. Let's take a look at something. Yes, it is. What's the high on this bar? Let me refresh this real quick. All right, the high on that bar is 232.84. We go back to the daily. $232.84 is right about there. Edit. This is what we do. There we go. Now we've got a better chart. See? This is a big tail bar in here, okay, but on low volume, starting to pick up. Would be very aggressive, maybe if it takes out the highs of these two bars. Good volume on Friday. And that's the key. Excuse me. That's an overview of the MAXLIST stocks. We look at these. Some of these will probably be on the key list. But I just wanted to point out, illustrate the tactics and how they work. They work, right? They work over and over. I mean, folks, Netflix, that base right there, that's good money. I'm not bragging. I'm trying to just show people what to look for in the charts. Simple, simple. And remember this is important. Price is good above the line, bad below. What does that do? It keeps losses very small. 7 or 8% losses? No way. That's not going to happen.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like. Maybe hit that subscribe button. We come up with new content nearly every day. Also, check out the videos on the right. YouTube recommends the one on the top, and the bottom one is something we thought you might enjoy. See you next time.